If you're looking for a top-tier steering stabilizer for your 2020 or newer JT Gladiator, this Fox Factory Race Series 2.0 ATS steering stabilizer will be a good one to take a look at. Now, this will be great for the Gladiator owner who is serious about their off-road performance and wants a well-engineered stabilizer to reduce feedback in the steering, keeping them comfortable for high-speed off-road driving or technical slow trails. Now, not to mention, this offers the ability to adjust the comfort of your ride if you're the type of Jeep owner switching up your terrain. So if you want options when it comes to your steering, specifically 24 of them, then this will be right up your alley. Now, when taking a look at this stabilizer on the table here, we can identify a couple of these key and premium features right off the bat, one being the through shaft. Now, that will allow a neutral design in the stabilizer, which will offer equal steering pressure in each direction, so you're not going to have any push and pull from the stabilizer itself, offering some really good control. Now, you're also going to see that this will have a piggyback reservoir, piggyback meaning that it's directly mounted to the body of the shock with no line like other reservoir options, and this mounting method will increase valving and basically expedite it for that extra capacity and to keep the shock cooler to perform better, especially over longer periods of time. Now, one of the invisible features of this is the internal floating piston, which separates the oil and the gas in the shock, which will reduce cavitation or bubbles forming, which can cause shock fade over time. So this specific method will offer consistent performance and longevity out of this stabilizer. Last but not least, this will have a little external adjuster down at the bottom here that you can easily turn with a flathead, and has 24 points of adjustment to soften or firm up the stabilizer to your personal preference for whatever trail or street you're on. Now, with the laundry list of features here, you can assume that this will be built incredibly well, and it is. Now, the shock body will be made of a CNC machined 6061 T6 billet aluminum to keep the shock cool yet durable, and will have a hard anodized finish to prevent any corrosion. This will also have a 5/8 inch hard chrome plated heat treated alloy steel shaft to resist any damage to the shaft itself. Now, also included are quiet nitrile bushings to allow for an increased suspension articulation, and of course a long lifespan compared to the factory ones that can get brittle over time. Now, being a premium setup, this is not going to require any modification. It is going to be completely bolt on thanks to this included bracket here to replace the factory axle bracket. Now, this will cost you a pretty penny, but it is worth it for the performance and the features that you're getting at about $525. Now, again, this is going to be one of the most premium choices due to the through rod, piggyback reservoir, and adjustability, as where most will not come with those features, even if they are just as durable or the same size. So I think if you have the extra cash to spend and want all of those added features to eliminate feedback and get the highest performance ride that you can get out of your JT, then this is going to be a great pick. Now, install is actually going to be very straightforward, getting a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you about an hour to get the job done with some basic hand tools. Now, at this point, we can head over to the shop and check out a detailed breakdown of the install process and what it looks like step by step. So that's going to wrap it up for me. Let's go ahead and get into it.
The tools you're going to need for this install include an 18mm ratcheting wrench, a 3/8 ratchet, 13mm socket, and a 3/16 Allen socket. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing a steering stabilizer on our Gladiator, so let's get started. Alright guys, so the first step of the uninstall, we're going to grab an 18mm ratcheting wrench. We're going to loosen up this nut here. Grab that 18mm ratcheting wrench, we're going to remove this nut. Just going to leave a couple threads on there, so now we can move over to the other side. Now we're just going to keep a couple threads on here so we can remove our bracket and this won't come flying off. So now we're going to grab a ratchet on a 13mm socket and remove this bolt here and the 2 up top. Now we can remove these top 2. Remove these by hand now. So now this side is disconnected. We're gonna have to unscrew those last threads. Then we'll come back over to this side to remove that nut. Press our bolt up. Now we can remove our bolt, slide that out the top, and we can remove our steering stabilizer. All right guys, so now we have our new steering stabilizer on the table. Just gotta assemble a few things before we get it onto the vehicle. So the first thing we're gonna tackle is our relocation bracket. We're gonna line these two smaller holes up with the holes on the mounting part of the steering stabilizer. So before we put our two included bolts in here, you wanna make sure that this is in the correct location. It will be facing like this once it's on the vehicle. So now we can grab our two bolts and we're gonna thread those two in. So now we'll take our 3/16 Allen socket. I'm going to tighten these two down. So now we can move on to the other side of our steering stabilizer. The kit includes two spacers and O-rings. This spacer here is going to be facing down where your nut will be going in, and this one will be on the top. So now we can grab our O-rings. We're going to put them over the lips of our spacer, and we're just going to press these into the top. Doesn't matter right now because you could spin this. So that's going to go on the bottom. I'm going to press that in. So now we can get this onto the vehicle. So now we can get our steering stabilizer into place. First, we'll start by lining up our brackets. But to do so, we have to compress our steering stabilizer down a little bit. So now I can get this lined up. I'm going to be reusing our factory hardware. Threading that back into its original location. Now the instructions do include to put red Loctite on here to decrease as much death wobble as possible. So now we can come over to this side. So now I have the lower bolt in. We're going to tighten this down with our 13mm socket. Get this nice and snugged up. So now I can move up to the top and tighten these two down. I'm gonna thread this one in by hand first. Now we'll snug it up with our 13. All right, now we'll move over to the other side. Now we can line our steering stabilizer up with the mount. So we're just gonna push that forward. We're gonna take our OEM bolt, put that through the top. There we go. Make sure you seat that square into the mount on the top so the bolt doesn't move. Then we can thread our nut onto the bottom. And we're gonna go ahead and tighten that up with our 18mm ratcheting wrench. All right guys, so now we got everything bolted up. You're gonna wanna go through and torque it down to factory spec. Another important note, you can go onto the back side of our stabilizer. There is a reservoir with a knob on it. You can twist it left and right to choose your sensitivity of your steering. So that's gonna wrap up the install on our Fox Factory Race Series 2.0 ATS steering stabilizer for the 20 and newer Jeep Gladiator JT. Thanks for watching, and for all things Gladiator, keep it right here at extremeterrain.com.